Purchased the property. I went over and signed the bond documents with the conveyancer. And then quite a number of months have elapsed, 12 months have elapsed since I signed. So in the contract, it stipulates that I could have a restructuring of the bond after a period of time has elapsed, which now has occurred. So the restructuring has happened, and it appears as though the previous amount that I signed at compared to what I'm going to sign at, I haven't yet signed, is far higher. I now want to look for a new service provider in terms of my bond. The conveyancer, however, is putting pressure on me to sign at the new restructured bond value with the same service provider I signed at initially. Can I take time to go look for a new service provider in terms of obtaining a bond? And how long do I have before the sale is actually cancelled?
The answer is actually quite simple. It depends on the contract. I can't picture an offer to purchase that has a specific financial institution being the bond, the bank that provides the bond. I can't see that could be enforceable, because we have like a free country where we can contract and trade as we see fit. So unless the offer to purchase specifically said with this bank or with this service provider, if the contract does allow for restructuring, it's interesting, and I would like to understand the scenario, but we won't go into all the detail there. But if you're allowed to, in terms of the contract, so it doesn't say you have a suspensive condition and fulfillment would require, obviously, to continue with that bank, which I would expect to see in the average offer to purchase, that you can't waste time and say, okay, I have to get bond approval. It's a suspensive condition that I need to get bond approval within 21 calendar days, but then you can move around and shop around after that. Once your suspensive condition has been filled, you have to proceed in terms of the contract as is after fulfillment of your suspensive condition. And failure to do that, say for instance, the purchaser did receive a bond with Bank A, and now later on wants to delay the transaction by moving to another bank, the seller would have the right to enforce specific performance and say, listen, buddy, suspensive condition was fulfilled. You can't now go shop around like and move between service providers and delay the transfer. It would be a term of the average offer to purchase that all the parties has to do everything in their power to get to to transfer as quickly as possible. So unless there's something weird, I can't really see that you can move around between banks after the original bond approval was accepted by the purchaser. And at the same time, I can never see a situation where a seller can dictate the bank with which the bond should be provided, because they don't care. They get the cash. They don't care where the money comes from.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So it's very unusual that they bind someone to a specific bank, because it actually works against the seller, because the seller wants the purchaser to have as many options as possible. When Chris mentioned restructuring, though, just tell me, Chris, so is this based on an offer to purchase, or is this based on refinancing?
I'm not actually sure with regard to the person who asked the question, Bruno. So this is me asking a question.
Okay. No, the reason I say this is because from a refinancing perspective, just a quick one to throw it in there, because I'm not sure. If you're already with a bank, you've already got a bond with the bank, and now you're trying to restructure it and you're trying to sign for a higher amount or something along those lines, then it becomes difficult to change, because now it's basically a new credit application. So the banks the new bank would completely reassess. You'd have to cancel the existing bond and go with a new bank. So from a refinancing perspective, you would typically be stuck with your present service provider, your present credit provider. Otherwise, it's actually going to cost you a lot more to change at that moment and to change bonds and get new registration and stuff like that. But yeah, that's only if it's a refinancing, not a sale.